Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. My name is Natalia Moczulska and this is the news. The reactions surrounding the opening of the shipping channel through the Vistula Spit are not going away. The investment, strategic from the point of view of Polish security, is praised by foreign media. Experts stress that this is the end of Russia's influence on the economy and development of the region. The grand opening of the canal that connects the Vistula Spit to the Baltic Sea was held yesterday. We believe and have always believed, following our great ancestors, that the sea is a great opportunity for Poland, the Baltic Sea, which gives us incredible development of opportunities. As of today, smaller ships and yachts can pass through the canal. This superbly shortens the route from the Vistula Lagoon to the Gulf of Gdańsk. The Vistula Spit has even attracted the attention of the American media. Poland opens a new sea waterway to reduce dependence on Russia. This is the title of the article, which appeared yesterday in the Washington Post. Clearly, Americans recognize the importance of this investment. However, even friends overseas have not missed the fact that despite the lavish opening, the investment has not been handed over in full. However, cargo ships cannot use the passage until the approach to the port of Elbląg is deepened to 5 meters. The work is expected to cost 100 million zloty, which is a source of controversy between the national government and city authorities. This is an investment still unfinished. There is still a problem with access to the port. There are 900 meters of a water path that still need to be implemented. MEP Bogdan Żońca noted that once completed, the port in Elbląg will play an important role for the Polish economy. Because this port, according to the Maritime Institute, will bring billions of zloty in profits by 2045, the investment is to be fully delivered in 2023. The European Commission is recommending halting the disbursement of some EU funds to Hungary. According to Brussels, Viktor Orban's government has violated the rule of law by spending EU funds. The stakes are high. Budapest could lose up to 7.5 billion euros because of this decision. Today's decision by the Commission is unprecedented. The European Commission is demanding a freeze of 65% of the funds for Hungary, which would come from 3 cohesion policy programs.
Our ultimate objective under this mechanism is that the budget is no longer at risk, and we hope to achieve this as soon as possible through the adequate reforms in Hungary.
Prime Minister Viktor Orban announced the creation of a special office to fight corruption. Budapest announces its start on November 21st this year. We are dealing with a lot of information saying that the funds for Hungary, Orban and his circle are simply embezzling. Ryszard Czarnecki, MEP of Law and Justice, believes that such decisions can only harm the already divided European community. In this way, the European Union is really doing its best to bring the European project closer to an end. After all, it affected us too. There was an attack on Poland before, now on Hungary. Today's proposal from the European Commission is in line with the statement by the Vice President of the European Parliament, Katarina Barley, who threatened Hungary and Poland in autumn 2020. Countries like Poland and Hungary need to be starved financially. EU subsidies are an effective leverage. Publishers point out that the rule of law in this case is just a slogan, and in fact it is about interference in the internal policies of the member states. The European Union needs to be reformed, and it really needs to be reformed from the roots, one could say, because if we are talking about the lack of rule of law, it is precisely this lack of rule of law that needs to be looked for in the decision-making bodies in the European Union today. The European Commission wants to apply a conditionality mechanism for the first time, which is very controversial. European Union commissioners assure that so far they have not found enough reason to punish Poland. But as journalists point out, the situation of Hungary should give the authorities in Warsaw food for thought. Exhumation work is underway in the village of Izium in eastern Ukraine, where mass graves have been found. President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russians used inhumane torture against the victims. Meanwhile, in the last 24 hours, Russian missiles again fell on Ukrainian cities. One of the targets was Kramatorsk. Exhumation works continued today in Izium, Kharkiv region, at the located mass burial site. New evidence of the torture used against the people buried there has been found. In liberated areas of Kharkiv region, there have been more than 10 torture chambers found in various cities and towns. Even at the usual railway station, we found a room for torture, found tools for electric torture. Torture was a widespread practice in the occupied territory. The situation on the front line had no significant changes over the past day. The armed forces of Ukraine are gradually, step by step, pushing the occupiers out of our land. Many of the Russian soldiers have already realized that they have no chance in Ukraine, that they will be defeated. The most intelligent of the Russian soldiers are surrendering, and we guarantee them compliance with all their rights according to the conventions. The city of Kramatorsk, with around 150,000 residents, over which very heavy battles were fought just about a month ago. Today, it looks much different than it did 6 or 5 weeks ago, when we were here with our cameras for TV Republika. Very many people have returned to the city. Trolley buses are operating, stores are open. The Russians have withdrawn from Slavyansk, and Ukrainian attacks are now actually continuing on Lysychansk. This is a distance of about 20-something kilometers from the city. Therefore, the residents are not exposed to artillery fire. But unfortunately, missile fire continues uninterrupted. And yesterday, of the 30 shells that were fired on this city, a dozen hit residential buildings, including the largest hotel and practically the only one in this city. People are not making much of it. Life is returning to normal. You can see a great deal of the military. You can see that this is, so to say, the behind the scenes of the front line. Even some of the factories have been put back into operation. Earlier today, Ireland's and Poland's leaders paid their respects to Britain's Queen Elizabeth II at London's Westminster Hall, a day before the monarch's state funeral. Polish President Andrzej Duda is to attend Queen Elizabeth's state funeral tomorrow. Polish President Andrzej Duda, Irish President Michael D. Higgins, and U.S. President Joe Biden were amongst the hundreds of world leaders and dignitaries arriving in Britain this weekend to attend the funeral of Queen Elizabeth tomorrow. Scores of dignitaries and royals from across Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Americas will attend tomorrow's funeral. Hundreds of thousands of people have descended on London to pay tribute to Britain's longest reigning monarch. Overnight, thousands of mourners queued to pay their final respects ahead of the last full day of the Queen's lying in state. Tea was served, blankets handed out to those who were cold, and new friendships formed as Britons from all walks of life waited for their chance to say goodbye. Poland's President Andrzej Duda and other world leaders stood and bowed their heads along with their wives at the Palace of Westminster, where the late royal is lying in state. Earlier today, President Andrzej Duda was also seen leaving Downing Street after meeting British Prime Minister Liz Truss. It has been over a week since Queen Elizabeth II passed away in her holiday home at Balmoral Castle in the Scottish Highlands at the age of 96 after a 70-year reign, plunging the nation into mourning. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Please stay tuned for Poland Daily Weather, Poland Daily Business, and some of our other programs. But for me, it's have a wonderful Sunday night.